Now, how to make friends and influence people Chinese style. For Eden Collinsworth, it's a question of manners. In her new book, the author says the people of China are desperate to learn how to interact, how to be more confident in dealing with people from the West, and how this might bring them in more money. Well, I'm pleased to say that Eden Collinsworth is here with me in the studio. Thanks very much for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Your book is proving very popular in China.
It is. It's on the bestseller list in the largest chain, state-owned chain store in mainland China, to my surprise and delight.
Why do you believe this is? What do Chinese people feel you can do for them?
Well, I know that there's an enormous appetite for the Chinese to better understand Western deportment. And it cuts across all the demographics, because I've lectured at the universities and you know, there's great interest. And at the same time, I've been asked by state-owned committees to actually write deportment books for grade school children.
When you say deportment, what exactly are you talking about?
Well, deportment is any interaction with another person, or as many people as you care to count. And it really isn't, you know, it has nothing to do with education or background. It has to do with a certain kind of skill set in being empathetic and being sensitive to other people, most especially people who don't share your personal and cultural background.
And what are the differences you're finding between, say, the Chinese approach and the Western approach in business? And how do you tell people in China what they should do without being patronizing, without perhaps being offensive?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm not professing for one brief moment that Western deportment is better or correct. It's just very different. And the appetite stems from, on the Chinese part, stems from their understanding that they are doing more and more business with the West, and they're also traveling outside of China. And so I would say, most especially to Westerners, that they mustn't take it personally if they don't understand. It took me 10 years to grapple with these gaps.
Are you talking about body language, about punctuality, things like that?
Absolutely everything. The body language starts with a handshake, and it's very unusual to see a Chinese comfortable with looking someone straight in the face and offering a firm handshake. And so, quite honestly, you know, for many, many months during the course of my first year in China, I thought that it was a sign of disrespect, and in fact, it's quite the opposite.
Very briefly, Eden Collinsworth, people could say China have done very, very well without lessons in deportment. They don't need this.
No, well, they certainly have the checkbook, but I think that there is a genuine interest, and I think that there's a desire on their part to feel more and more confident. And so I don't think it's a financially driven issue, although I think there's an innate understanding that the more successful you are in an interaction, the more likely you are to have a profitable outcome.
Eden Collinsworth, thanks very much for coming in.
My pleasure.